Hey folks, it's Lianne here, author, speaker, and transformation coach. This is my second video in a series to help you through this crisis. The last one, if you didn't get a chance, was called COVID-19, Catalyst for Crisis Catalyst for Change. And in this video, what I want to do is help you with some practices that you can adapt for yourself to help you not only survive, but actually come out the other end of this crisis really thriving in your life. And so before we get started, please click and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have lots of different content for you and things coming up in the next few weeks to help you through this and really, like I said, come out at the other end. So one of the things that happened to me 10 years ago, a really dramatic crisis happened in my life. And I make some parallels because all of my life imploded, kind of like it might feel like for you. So not only was there the financial crisis and my business started to tank, I was the sole earner in my family. But even more importantly, my husband was diagnosed with terminal cancer and he eventually passed away. And I was left alone to look after my two young boys. So there was, health, wealth, and, just self-confidence. Everything was affected by that crisis. So similar to today, to so many people, this is a global crisis affecting people on every single level. Certainly as we're trying to get through the health part right now, as the weeks come, we'll also be looking at, what do we do for work? How do we compensate the lost revenues? Businesses going out, going bankrupt, and the ripple effect of that. So there's a lot of concern and there's going to be a lot of impact. And what I mentioned in the last video was that where there's a crisis, there's an opportunity for growth and evolution. And certainly that was my case, where I could have shrunk into my life and really, became smaller and more fearful and more protective. But instead, I took this opportunity to kind of figure out, why was this happening to me and what could I learn and how could I grow from it? And as a result of that, I learned some really valuable steps to help people through crisis. And not only that, but really to see that crisis as a catalyst for them, as a way to help them really look deeper into their life, what they want to change, what they want to shift, what they want to let go of, and how they want to step into their life in a greater way. That was my experience. And so what I want to start with today, and we'll talk about other things in future videos, is the thing that I teach all of my clients. It's what I call the 5 power practices. Okay, I'll give you a little bird's eye view very quickly here, and you can get some of this information on my website. But essentially, the 5 power practices are, let's talk about what a practice is first. So what is a practice? We hear right now a lot about, okay, we're going into, it's almost like what's happened is the world has kind of hit like a reset button on us, right? So all of a sudden, after the last, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever it might be, depending on where you are in the world, your life has just kind of been like thrown up, everything, your job, your home, and everything. And if you're kind of in the North American part of the world like I am, it's been a little bit more recent and things are closed. So we're now all of a sudden, we went into kind of shock and panic mode, and we started to prepare. That's normally the first step. So most of you have already got some food that you need. You're at home. Now it's kind of like, now what? So this is the next stage, is really to start to prepare to take advantage of this time where we are disconnected from our day-to-day patterns, and to really go within. And why is that important? Well, I think for part of it is that this is why this is happening to us. It's like that pause button in our life. Everything just came to a halting crash, travel, work, everything. And then we go, okay, it scares us. We're like very ungrounded, but then we start to plan, we start to settle, and it's like, okay, now what does this mean? And I found that very much the same with me when my husband passed away. It was just like, you go into crisis mode, you're doing the funeral, you're doing everything, and then everything settles. And it's like, okay, there's still, you've got the fear, worry, all those things, but it's quieter. So you'll hear a lot of experts out there saying, this is a time for mindfulness, presence. These are times to meditate, to do yoga, to take up creative projects, all those kind of things. So that's what I want to kind of put into practice for you to help you to do that. And so that you have some things that when you come out of this, you actually are doing things on a regular basis, changing your habits and behaviors in ways that are very positive for you. Maybe things that you've always wanted to do. So let me go back to the 5 power practices. So a practice is something like strengthening a muscle, is that you do on a regular basis to get better and better and stronger at, so it becomes a habit. And so a practice like we call a practice of yoga or meditation, or there's so many other ones, is really about doing something that you can start with small, get a little bit of comfort in over time. And as you get that comfort, you get more confidence and you do more and you find the reward of it, and it keeps you going. And so that you go, become so like second nature to you, natural. I started doing the practice of working out at the gym for the last 6 months. Now the gyms are closed, and I'm a little bit worried about being able to get back onto that practice when they open up again. But that's another thing about practice. When you've done it regularly, even though you lapse for a week or 2 or 3, even a month, if you've been doing it, the longer you've been doing it, the longer you can lapse and come back pretty easily. If you've only been doing it 2 weeks and you lapse for a month, it's harder. So just when I talk about practice over the next couple of minutes, is just to recognize it's not a one-time thing. This is an opportunity for you to acquire and step into one of these practices, so that over the next few weeks you get stronger and it really transforms your life in a positive way. So what are the 5 power practices? These are the practices that you can do. It's like a buffet. You can do one of them or all of them in your life. I try to do a mixture of all 5, whether some of them every day, some of them every week, and some of them definitely every month. So the first one is awareness, practice of awareness, which we kind of know a little bit more around meditation, mindfulness. The second one is wellness. So all the things we do for our mind, body, and spirit health. The next one is wisdom, connecting with our deeper wisdom, with the wisdom that exists around us and in the world. The next one is wonder, and being in awe and curiosity and playfulness. And then the last one is attraction, the law of attraction. So being in alignment so that we can actually start to imagine, dream, and attract what we want in our life and our health and our finances. Okay, so let's start with awareness. Awareness is one area that is vital important right now, because the more present we are, the more aware we are of our surroundings, our body, our thoughts, our emotions, then we are able to respond very differently. We don't have to necessarily respond in panic. We can take a breath or two, be the observer, watching our thoughts, watching our reactions, watching what's happening around, and have more insight. But what are the practices of awareness? Okay, there are so many different ones. And it's really this idea of a buffet is it's for you to look at what really resonates with you, what would work with you, and to be put it into practice so that you can do it on a regular basis. Because real transformation comes from doing things regularly, consistently, and then feeling the reward from it and doing it and it keeping going. Just like you can imagine when you're dieting or when you're exercising, these are practices that you probably have experienced in your life. You may be more new to the practices of mindfulness or awareness. So what are some of the practices of awareness? Any kind of meditation. Again, meditation could be listening to a guided meditation. That's often really easy for people who are not used to meditating and just trying to quiet their mind on their own. So if you listen to either somebody singing a mantra, or you have somebody guide you along a path to a stream and with music and that type of thing, whether it's learning to listen to your breath. There's so many apps and so many things on YouTube to help you with that. And depending on the time of day, you might have one that's more enlivens you in the morning, or one that quiets you down in the evening. So a practice of any kind of mindfulness can be very helpful. But mindfulness and meditation is one part of that. Mindfulness could be, any type of exercise that you do, going out into the woods, being very quiet, observing, being more present. It can even be like running or something like that, where it helps you to really be that observer more and get out of the monkey mind thought. The reason why we want to do this is because when we can calm the thoughts what happens is that we stop the resistant thoughts, the resistant ones, the ones that really don't do us service, the ones that harm us, the fear, the doubt, the shame, the guilt, the sadness, all those things that really are long term harming us in our mind and our emotions, and eventually in our body as well. So when we can quiet the mind, when we can observe it and see where it's playing, where it's repeating, and helping to try to alleviate that, it helps us to be able to become more aligned with um, the higher vibration, the higher levels and thoughts of consciousness that allow us to propel ourselves forward in our life. So mindfulness, other things that help us to stay in awareness are yoga, any kind of activity that for the body where you can really feel the connection to your body, and states of presence. It could even be when you're with your children, just observing and watching them and play, or with your animals, spending some time just petting them. It could also be even just if you're doing some housework and or tidying up or whatever it might be, where you're just very present. Mindful eating is another way where you very slowly, quietly, without any distraction, without any devices, just eat and think about the flavor, or feel and enjoy the flavors, and imagine where it came from and what it took, and then to be in appreciation of that, which I'm going to take you through in a minute, because that's another kind of category of practice, is appreciation. And so that's kind of more the awareness side. That's one practice. The next one is wellness. So this is something that I'm sure you know a lot about, but it looks at all aspects of wellness. So, if you were to evaluate yourself at this point, here's an opportunity, as we've put that pause button in our life, to look at, is nutrition an issue for you? Is sleeping maybe more of something that you want to improve on? Is hydration? I know that's wrong for me right now. Is it, what about exercise? What about doing things that really feed your soul, feed your mind, feed your soul, feed your body? So what are those things? And is at this time, can you put into practice something that will, help you over the long run? And so wellness, awareness are two things that you can start right now. And again, you don't have to do everything. You might say, you know what's really important to me right now is nutrition. Maybe I have some time, I'll be able to make make great meals. There's lots of amazing people who have YouTube videos and to tell you how to do that. One of my friends, Zena's Kitchen, does that. So take the time now to learn some of these, even do them, because even just by doing, you're going to be getting into the practice of doing. So in a couple of weeks, you'll be more likely to continue that practice. So the third power practice is wisdom. It's really connecting with the wisdom that's within, that's around us, and that's, really in the non-physical realm. What does that mean? Well, let's start with within us. Within us, we've had, maybe years of experience, things that we've learned, and not only learned, but we've actually experienced. And so we might have learned something from a textbook or experienced something in life. And from there, we've assimilated a knowledge and an understanding, and usually a wisdom that has come from that. So it's being able to tap into that, and then to go even deeper, to be able to feel into what is our deeper intuition, what is our deeper knowledge. And that comes to, back to awareness and wellness, when we can, be quiet and just listen to what's happening to us when we hear news about the virus. Okay, we feel it in our stomach, we feel the knots. Or we might say, okay, maybe I have an idea, I can help somebody, my neighbor really needs help to be inspired, whatever. That's the wisdom of the body is reacting, or the wisdom of your greater or higher self, or your inner being. And there's lots of ways to tap into that intuition, that the knowledge. Like I said, if we're connected to our body, our thoughts, our mind, our inner being, and our inner being is kind of connected to the greater realms, maybe our guides or whatever, that we have the opportunity to connect to that. One of the best ways that I love to do is to, again, be quiet, do automatic writing. So, you could just do journaling. You might be able to get some things, or really just asking questions and trying not to edit as you answer, and just to keep writing and ask questions. What do I need to know now? What are the things that need to happen? There's lots of different prayers that people can do to tap into that wisdom. And of course, there's a lot of kind of more traditional wisdom that's around. There's now could be an opportunity where you learn something new, where you want to master something, where you can connect with ancient wisdom practices and traditions. And there's so many books and so much online that now is an opportunity for you to connect to this deeper wisdom that will help you in your life. Okay, so we talked about awareness, we talked about wellness, and then the next one, and then we talked about wisdom. The fourth one is wonder. This is the thing that's really going to be important for us right now, is to be in awe and wonder and appreciation. So to be in that, really, there's a lot of research now that's showing how it actually positively affects our body and our hormones. And that in that, and my friend Sharon talks a lot about that, and you'll see in some of the work that we do together, that how important that is for, talks about the mitochondria, and that's kind of the energy source of our cells, and how that's really important for our immune system as well. So what is wonder? To just be childlike, to be curious, to be playful, to be having fun. And again, it requires you to be in the moment, more aware, to feel healthy and energized, to be kind of tapped into your wisdom and your own imagination and your intuition. But to really, what are some of the practices of wonder is, to be in nature. So this is a great time to go for walks in nature, to be with your pets, to play with your kids, to play, even if it's online or doing, FaceTime, having fun with friends and that kind of thing. It's really, this whole idea of social distancing, I don't think is a very good word. It should be more of a physical distancing, because we really need each other right now. We need to be connected socially. And even if we're not physically together, we have so much technology to be together socially and in a very positive way. So, maybe it's time to just be in your backyard, whether the snow's melting or a warmer climate, and just to look at the trees and connect with them and be in awe of how they grow and how magnificent they are. Another aspect of wonder is appreciation. So, a lot of people do gratitude journals, and to just even take a few minutes every day. First thing is to think about gratitude and what you're happy for, even in spite of everything that's going on right now. And then the last one is attraction. The last power practice is a law of attraction, of using um, your vibration, of improving your vibration and having intention to actually create in the world. And this is a big topic, but it's really about more mental focus, more helping you to, through your awareness, focus on the thoughts and the beliefs, changing and shifting beliefs, which we're going to talk about in the next video. And also to in our interaction. So when we see that, okay, what's appearing in my life, these are the things that aren't working. And so now we can start to focus on the things we want and be more in the imagination of what's possible and the intention of what's possible, and work on the beliefs and the thoughts that go against that. So even if it starts with being general, because maybe you're saying, you know what, I'd like a new job, or I'd like a new relationship that's like this, but I don't really believe it so much. Or even there's some inkling of doubt within. Well, that goes against the law of attraction. So if you could try to work on that belief. And one of the ways is to really just imagine more in appreciation what it would be like if you actually were experiencing that job that you like, or that relationship that you like, and what it felt like, and to really be in that emotion, and to be maybe more general. So it's more about freedom or love or support, rather than the person looks like this or the job has this much money. And as you become more comfortable with that, you can start to get more specific. And through that specificity and that higher vibration, you'll be working on your law of attraction to create the way that you want in the world. And this is a lifelong practice. This is not something that happens overnight. Goodness knows I often miscreate in my life a lot of times, but those miscreations, what I call them, was where I think that they're not really serving me. There's stuff that I didn't really want in my life, are always things that teach me, and teach me either big lessons of life, things that I still need to work on, or even how I'm still miscreating and not really working on the law of attraction to its best, the best way. Law of attraction is really quite new for us in our society. It's something that we really, that is a great example of practice, because it takes a lot of time to become better and better at it. So that just gives you, over the last few minutes, to give you an idea of the 5 power practices, from starting with working on awareness, and then working on wellness and wisdom, wonder, and attraction. And with those, you can decide which one is really most important to you to really amp up in your life. What would serve you the most right now and in the next little while? And then from there to say, okay, I'm going to focus in maybe in that area. What are some of the practices within awareness? Like we talked about quite a few different ones, or wonder. And what can I do over the next few days to start that? Because if I can start it once a day for the next few days, I start to get into a rhythm, and that rhythm will help me continue. I hope you found this helpful. We'll be talking a little bit more about mindset and thoughts, and controlling our thoughts and our beliefs, and helping to heal the wounds that we have, the things that are going to be stopping us from moving forward and staying stuck in our lives as we move into the next stages of this crisis. So stay tuned for the next few days. I'll be putting another video out. In the meantime, if you're interested and you want to download a book, I have this on Amazon. This is my memoir about awakening. It's called Love Will Keep Us Alive, A Journey of Awakening Through Heartbreaking Loss and the Alchemy of Love. And I'll be talking a little bit more about this as well, is how really love right now is going to keep us all alive, and not only alive, but alive to our life and alive in our life. So check that out. And please, again, like, subscribe, and look forward to all of your comments, and stay well. Thank you. Namaste.